welcome back to our channel, and today we're gonna be voting for president of the Philippines!
Yay!
I see.
So who are we gonna vote?
So we're gonna vote the president of the Philippines.
Who is? Who is the president? Huh? Who? Who's your president, Kai? Huh?
I forgot about it.
Yeah. Okay. You say, hi guys, welcome. You have noise. Yeah. Who else? Kaila. Okay. So what will happen today is
We're gonna be voting for the president.
the special ballot.
We're gonna be voting for the president
Yeah.
in the Philippines.
I know. This is an empty ballot.
Okay.
This is for the May 9, 2022 election in Philippines. But this is postal vote. So we can vote provided that it will reach the Philippine Embassy. You see, the special ballot reception and group that will be sent to the embassy. And hopefully my vote will reach to Philippines. So this is empty, and today I have to spend time to vote. Okay? So who will be my president? I will reveal soon. Actually, but one thing I would like to tell you, I have here the Aljazeera English. Yeah. Okay. I've seen their post. That was yesterday. You can see this is streamed 18 hours ago. So that's yesterday. And I have to react to it because it's something really not right. It's very unfair. No, Aljazeera always have a good, media. So it should be a thing. But this one I feel like is very unfair and it's not the right post. So I'll show you why, okay? But after that, I have to cast my vote. Yeah. So it's easy, simply. I just need to shade which president I need to vote, and then the vice president and the senators. So we have the list of senatorial candidates. And also, as well, I have to pick from my party list. Okay? So, see. Well, I'll show you why I have to react on this one. Okay, baby, are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to show you something here.
Okay, I'm just blowing up balloons right now.
Wait, who's that for? For Marcos?
No, that's for me.
Election.
That's for me. That's because it's Saskia's birthday. She wears clothes right now.
Okay.
Let's put some air.
Okay, let me read some comments as well.
Hi, I'm Ahmed Shahideen, and you're in the stream. Today, the race to become the next president of the Philippines. We'll talk about the frontrunners and what's at stake in the upcoming election.
Hey guys, look at the balloons so far.
The Philippines is heading into the final days of a presidential election that some analysts say could alter the state of liberal democracy in the Asian nation. It's been a campaign smeared by election disinformation, and leading the race is the son of a former dictator.
Can you
With us
imagine
to
the
get
word
into all the
in here?
details is our panel who are joining us from Manila. Lian Buan is a journalist who has been covering the campaign of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for the news website Rappler. Richard Haydarian is a columnist and the author of The Rise of Duterte, a populist revolt against elite democracy. And Regine Cavado, a journalist who has been reporting on election disinformation for the Washington Post. And of course, we want you to be a part of this conversation live on YouTube. You can chat your comments and questions to our producer right here, and we will do our best to get them into the show. Let's get straight to it. I want to start by asking you, Regine, why is this being dubbed the most consequential or important election in history? What's really at stake here? Could you explain for our viewers?
Hi, Ahmed. It's basically because the hold of truth on reality is going to be tested in the upcoming election. In this election in particular, we are seeing a massive disinformation campaign that is working in favor and benefiting the frontrunner Ferdinand Marcos Jr., known locally as Ballot, his nickname. This has been a decades-long, well-planned, well-funded operation that is cross-platform. It's on YouTube, it's on TikTok, Facebook.
That means they're
and
effective,
basically there are a lot of people who
believe in
have been buying this
Mommy, can you
very
make this
embellished narrative of the martial law years and of the Marcos legacy.
Please, Mommy.
Which, in some cases,
Yes,
will deny
correct.
the corruption that went
I
on
do
during that time.
add
And if he makes it to the presidency, it will definitely show how far gone the truth might be in our fledgling democracy.
And you know, I like how you frame that because we have an example of just that. Someone who has been swayed perhaps by social media, and obviously social media always playing a very big role in all elections. I want to ask you, before we get to that thought, Leanne, the campaigns really seem this time around to be driven more by personality, if you will. Is that true? You've been on the ground. What can you tell us about Marcos Jr.'s competitor?
You can see that it's driven by personality when you have loyalists of the dictator.
See, she's from Rappler. So Rappler, we already know that they're anti the administration, anti-Duterte, anti-Marcos, obviously. You know, but
Guys, want to make balloons at home?
I'm talking, yeah?
Okay.
But then, you know, Rappler. So they have invited Aljazeera, invited three of these people, but then they are against, everybody's against the administration. So it's not a fair, show. It's a fair post. Seriously, I'm telling you. So, but listen to what she's gonna say.
Because his father was the dictator, and they, as Regine said, they buy into that embellished image of the martial law years being allegedly the golden era of the Philippines. Marcos himself, Marcos the son, the frontrunner himself, does not give comprehensive platforms. He has run this campaign on the platform or a promise of unity. Hunger, unity, better internet, unity, better education, unity, and he does not apologize for that. For him and his campaign, they've studied the psyche so well that they feel like it's working, it's resonating with people, and even though he is a polarizing figure, he has sold himself, in fact, to be a unifying leader.
Richard, a unifying leader. We've heard Marcos Jr.'s campaign just there. And from many people, being about unity.
Unifying.
About what exactly? Is it just the unity of two sort of dynastic leaders, Duterte, of course, and Marcos Jr.'s father? What is this unity?
Obviously, even the Aljazeera, what they put,
Well, it's a classic generic Marcos statement that is vacuous. There's some clear policy implications here. We have seen that the front runner Marcos has tried to avoid any legitimate debate, even debates that were sanctioned by the Commission on Elections. So unity is their easiest way of saying we don't want to have a really detailed debate, because once we get into the details, that's where the devil comes in, right? And the devil, in many cases, is essentially the baggage, historical baggage of the Marcoses. I mean, I have personally dubbed this as the most consequential Philippine elections, at least since 1969. This was the last time another Marcos was on the ballot. And once the father, Marcos, actually won the re-election in 1969, shortly after he declared martial law. And since then, we have been living in the shadow of the Marcoses. So if another Marcos now wins, he could complete what Duterte could not complete in the last 6 years. Duterte really undermined the foundations of democracy in the Philippines, but he didn't have the discipline and wherewithal, and he's quite, advanced in age. Marcos, if he comes in, he can finish the job.
Right.
He can push the Philippine democracy over the cliff.
And then I see, Regine, you're nodding and you wanted to jump in. Go ahead.
I was just going to maybe cut in a bit. Basically, definitely that is on the line, this upcoming election, and the Marcoses really are benefiting from this decades-long rebranding. It's very strange because definitely in the international eye, in the world's eye, there is nothing alleged about the corruption and the baggage of the martial law years into the Marcos regime.
Right.
But it's so ironic because locally that's being contested by people who have lived through it.
Well, and it certainly seems, according to all of you, that there's a bit of revisionist history going on potentially, using the online playground, if you will. We have an interview with Aljazeera. He's a 25-year-old supporter of the Marcos family in general. He really talks about how the information he's seeing online is directly influencing his vote. Take a listen.
While I was scrolling down social media, there were a lot of articles about the achievements of Marcos's father. So then I got curious. I checked the articles and I saw how beautiful the Philippines were during the time under Ferdinand Marcos, how cheap goods were, and how much infrastructure he built, of which we are still using now.
You know, Richard, what do you make of that message right there? I mean, in 1986, People Power protests brought down the Marcos family for a reason. It seems odd to be back, as you said, 3 decades or more later, with this same debate between authoritarianism and democracy. What do you make of that messaging? Is social media really impacting a broad section of the electorate?
Right. I mean, Ahmed, let me just clarify, because I think there has been a lot of millennial and youth bashing throughout the years. But if you look at the numbers, actually, the exit polls in 2016 elections, the reason why Bongbong Marcos did not become the vice president is because the millennials actually did not rally behind him. In fact, those folks 55 and above, a lot of boomers, right, and Generation X, were much more, I would say, much more given to the nostalgia for the Marcos era. But in this election, it's quite different. Now, I don't want to bash the younger generation, but we have the Gen Z generation, 18 to 22, very young people, and a lot of them are very active on TikTok platforms that were not really influential back in 2016. So this could be a different ballgame. I think the millennials were not really harbingers of revisionism, but this time I think there's much more palatability in terms of the Marcos messaging to the Generation Z, and I think they have really focused on that. They knew they didn't do as well in 2016 in terms of the youth vote, so they have really focused on coming up with, I mean, you look at it, Bongbong Marcos almost looks like a K-pop star, right? If you look at songs with TikTok, videos among others, and that clearly is catered to folks, very young folks like the gentleman that interviewed a while ago.
And it's interesting to hear you say that. We know that social media is all too powerful, not just with the millennial generation, but Leanne, I mean, Marcos somehow been able, Marcos Jr., I should say, to dismiss his own conviction of tax evasion and kind of the billions that his family still owns the government. Are these issues front and center? Is his challenger, Leni Robredo, whose central message is anti-corruption, managing to bring back the narrative, perhaps to a more realistic portrayal of history?
It should be front and center, but the fact that it's not being front and center is the price that we pay for having weak institutions, for not having a much better institutional remembering of what happened during martial law, for having a weak justice system, for having a weak anti-corruption system. And in fairness to the political opposition, they've been trying to bring those issues front and center. But we see that the Rebel campaign actually co-opt the message of unity. They rebranded their logo. They're now saying they're going to win it for everybody. So now they've realized just how powerful and how capturing the message of unity is and would be in the last stretch of the election. So it's very sad to see how all of this took a backstage in this campaign, but that's a price we pay for years of shortcomings from all sectors of civil society.
Yeah, including the media, and I want to get to that in a little bit. I do want to ask you, Regina, to listen to this young man, Kenneth, a COVID-19 response volunteer, who makes a kind of passionate case for why he's voting for Marcos's challenger, Leni Robredo. Take a listen.
I'm excited to vote for Vice President Leni Robredo for president because of 3 reasons. First, VP Leni helped save my loved ones' lives. She gave my family members for frontliners PPEs and helped our city manager search for offices' programs on free testing and patient monitoring. Second, VP Leni has 0 record of corruption. She was given the highest audit rating 3 years in a row. Third, VP Leni lives simply. and is the best person to fix many of our broken systems like public transport because she is a commuter like us and lives an ordinary life like us. VP Lenny inspires many of us to take a more active role in politics and governance, and that is why VP Lenny is my president.
That's your preference.
I know
That's
the
your
polls show
personal
that,
preference.
perhaps Marcos Jr. is going to win, but do you think that Lenny Robredo has a chance, Regine?
No.
A lot of analysts would say that maybe she might have the momentum to pull off a photo finish. Maybe Richard would be able to weigh in on that a bit later on. But definitely one thing that the surveys did not measure is the engagement of the electorate. I've been on the ground with the house-to-house campaign for Lenny Robredo, and I can definitely say that it's something that
Well, she said, what did she say? The polls, that's been established. That polls survey, whoever comes out there, whoever's the top less than there, always, it's tested. It's been there since, and it's a reliable source. So, fortunately, it's Marcos that says in the top, and Lenny is the second. Lenny's only like 24%. That's the latest, that was the latest survey that was done last month. And she has increased her survey, her percentage from, I think for something like 2 digits, 10 something like that. But she increased it to 9%. So it's now 24, and Marcos still 52%. So that's a long gap. But that's so, knowing, they're talking about social media, which, it's influence, really big, give you a big influence. But think about this. The Marcoses have a really bad image, especially when the former, before the administration, when it's the Dilawan or Aquino, they said something about they're really against Marcoses. Obviously, they are the contenders. They are not. They have the different in politics parties and that, and they have damaged the Marcoses very well at their time. But now people after the regime, after the Aquinos, and then the Duterte, it's regaining back the image of the Marcoses, which is true. But one thing for sure is that if they say the dictator is the father, that doesn't mean to say the son will be a dictator as well. In fact, Marcos is already a senator, and he's serving Philippines for quite some time, for a long time. Yeah, so that does show his record about what he did for Filipinos. And I would say, and I salute to this man, how humble, how down to earth he is in terms of dealing with the other parties of, or you say, enemy and politics. He didn't want to say any bad words against the other, whereas Lenny Robredo, or the vice president currently, she's saying a lot of bad words, bad image for the Marcoses.
What do you mean bad words?
I mean, not really bad words. It's a bad, it's trying to destroy the opponents, which is not a good leader, isn't it? If you want to have a fair play of sports, fair fight, you have to be fair. You can't just destroy personal, for your personal gain, to destroy a person, to emerge you as a good one. That doesn't work like that. People know about your strategy, that it's a bad politics.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
yeah, so that's one thing. I show. Okay, let's hear again. Let's show you what they say, which is really annoying. That's why I have to stop and I have to comment something. Okay. All right. We'll continue. This is, by the way, the pink. They said pink Lawan. They used to be the Dilawan. Now from the yellow, they changed to pink. Yeah, to pink. just because the yellow tarts, they're not really they're labeled as the really crap. Okay.
PAR has not been able to replicate really, because it took the Marcoses, even with social media, while it's been so effective, it still did take them decades to make such a comeback and to be able to rehabilitate their name. But the momentum, the upward spreading of the following for Rivera, who has been vilified for 6 years, there's all these crazy conspiracy theories that go on about her, all this fake news. But somehow she manages to come out of that with all this star power, all these celebrities who back her, and a really, I would say, unmatched volunteer campaign that's very creative. It's willing to counter trolls for free. To basically work as her online response team. That's definitely something to watch out for, even if she doesn't make the elections.
Richard, your thoughts? I mean, it seems as though this is an election in many ways about authoritarianism versus democracy. Someone, a candidate who wants to hold the system accountable, another who wants to continue to maybe steamroll.
That's why you're talking too much.
What do you make of
because you're allowed to
how it's playing in, and what we just heard about Robredo's real chances?
Actually destroy others or other personalities.
Very clear about the situation here. Robredo is not only against Ferdinand Marcos Jr. He's against the tandem, the axis of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Sara Duterte, the presidential daughter who's running for the vice presidency, but actually used to be the front runner in pre-election surveys for the presidency. So the moment Sara Duterte decided not to run for the presidency, that was around 30 points, that went to Bongbong Marcos. So Lenny is really against the whole team. And that's the problem. That's why it's a little bit lopsided. The other thing we have to keep in mind is that actually Pew Survey, World Values Survey, and when I was writing about the rise of Duterte, I have to understand where is this coming from. And one of the things I realized is that actually only 10 to 15% of Filipinos have expressed categorical support for liberal democracy. So Lenny is working in a very democratically ambivalent, if not a democracy fatigue situation. That's why she always had an uphill battle. But I think there was also some tactical mistakes. For instance, we see an upsurge of house-to-house volunteers, grand rallies. But how I wish this thing started in January, February. She's challenging Marcos to one-on-one debates. Why now? You should have done that in December, November. So there was a lot of dithering on the part of the opposition that I think really played into the Marcos camp's advantage.
Right, and Leanne, I see you nodding there as we heard from Richard. I do want to share with you this clip from Rachel Khan. She is a project coordinator with a fact-checking alliance in the Philippines that was specifically set up to address really a global problem, not just in the Philippines, which is, of course, election disinformation. Take a listen.
I think disinformation is playing a very big role in terms of manipulating the public. And the public is not aware that they are being manipulated, and that's the sad thing. That their freedom is being robbed because they are not making an informed choice.
So, Leanne,
so I don't think that's the wrong word you're saying. Manipulated. How could people be manipulated? When you talk about social media, they are a good source of information, and I think I think people nowadays, they have the minds, they are smart, especially the millennials, and they know what's right and they know what's wrong, and they've been educated, and they have been given good information. Social media platforms, they are wrong. They have wrong information, and any sort of information, good information, excellent information, all sorts. But it's up to the majority. It's up to the people. It's up to the person who's looking into the information about how he or she takes it. I mean, of course, I know generally people are getting smart. Generally, people are now getting the right information because they're in the social media. You can see most of it. You can balance, or you can actually judge by not just focusing on one, because especially in the platforms and social media platforms, of course, they're showing some others that majority will be pushed in through the, like what the other lady saying, the algorithm. But the algorithm goes with the most popular or the majority. Of course, in terms of the information, if the algorithm goes with what the audience would like to hear, obviously that influences the information. But I think if they're showing about Marcos's, the good things, they have, can you imagine, just like comparing the defamation case of Amber and Johnny Depp. I mean, you know that Amber just won. Actually, after this live, we have to watch. we have to watch the court hearing live, and it's on actually at the moment, and we'll finish sometime at 10 o'clock UK time. But in the US, that goes up to obviously the court starts at I think 9 or 10, and then it finishes by 5. And it's 5 o'clock in the US. That's around 10ish, 10. That's 10 in the UK. So in Philippines, gosh, what's in the Philippines? That's even more advanced, isn't it? So in the UK and Philippines, Philippines has got 7 hours advanced than UK. So that means plus 5, so it's like about 12 hours ahead of the US, Philippines. Yeah, so just like the defamation case wherein Amber won before and has got damaged the image of Johnny Depp, and which Johnny has to pay like about $7 million to Amber.
Mommy?
And Amber claimed that it's been given to the foundation or what's this one for the kids, or this foundation lies and saying na. Just given Amber gave the $7 million to
Mommy?
not foundation.
Mommy?
So anyway, yeah, she has given it to charity. But the charities that she has mentioned denied that they actually received the money. So it's a shame.
Was I
But then, Alikay, mommy's talking.
Did you see me
You say hi
sleep?
to people. Yeah, I didn't see you sleep.
Mommy!
Say hi to.
Hi!
Hi. And you know what's the topic that we're talking about? You know, Amber and Johnny Depp. Yeah? But anyway, yeah. So Johnny currently is trying to gain back. But as you see, the public has already, he has gained back the public opinion that Amber is lying about being Johnny's a white beater, but you know. So the same thing, like if you have already damaged someone's reputation, it's very difficult to get back. But look at the Marcoses; they have their reputation is being damaged and being by the Aquinos when they were in power, and now they're after their power is gone out of Philippines, and now they're trying to get back. And for me, this is sort of thing like it's quite hard for the Marcoses to gain back their image. But then again, if they will win and they have a good, they have a very good rating in the surveys at the moment, that means that's very impressive, because from really low, like even when 2016, when Marcos Jr. When he wanted to, or he went into the vice president, unfortunately he lost against Lenny Robredo, but there was a claim that he was being how is that? Parang dinaya. But then again, it's so hard to, to get an evidence na dinaya nga. But then, that's all done. That was in 2016. And now he's coming back, and the people are aware about what's going on. And when the Marcos says, and if he talks about the dictatorship of the father, it's a father, isn't it? That's not him. That's not him. That doesn't mean if your son or if my parents, if they're dictators, I'm gonna be a dictator too, which is not really true. Yeah. So yeah, I guess people have already woken up about what's going on in the Philippines. So I am supporting the Marcoses. Whatever you say, whatever Aljazeera was saying, but I would say a comment that post or what the show, it's very unfair. They're like inviting against the administration. That's not a good play, isn't it? So, okay, let's continue.
January, Twitter suspended hundreds of accounts that were promoting Marcos Jr.'s campaign and violating a lot of its kind of rules on spam and manipulating the platform. You just heard that comment from the fact checker there. I mean, is there hope that this will be a fair election?
I think it will be a fair election just because people feel that they made a choice. But I think what people do not realize is much of their choice has been influenced by fake news, by embellished stories, by algorithm. I see it personally in the people that I've covered. I see it in my own family. They don't realize that much of their opinion has been shaped by wrong things, by falsehoods. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, democracy is very much threatened, and we very much fear for where we're going if the line is going to be further blurred between fact and fiction.
And Regine, when we talk about those lines being blurred, it's interesting to me, and maybe I'm wrong, please correct me, the Philippines doesn't really have any sort of rules or regulations on social media. It seems that they have regulations like most countries do in terms of campaign spending for media, for mainstream media, but that there's almost an exception, if I'm not mistaken, for social media, that there's no way to govern that. Is that true?
Absolutely, and this is why some academics and critics have definitely called out the Commission on Elections because of the outdated rules that surround social media campaigning in the Philippines. One thing that we know is definitely that a lot of campaigning, advertising is hidden through influencers. It's made or disguised to look like it's organic. And there's basically no way to know whether an influencer
it's not a good
is on the
information.
politician's
That's why people
payroll or
rejecting
not.
it. That's why the
So
algorithm won't
on
take it.
influencers peddling
Isn't it?
skincare products, for example, on Instagram, you'd see that it's sponsored. But then they can, in politics, when they're marketing a certain politician, they can work that into any of their spiels, any of their content. It will look organic, but actually that person could be on the politician's payroll, and there's no way of measuring that or finding that out in the current system.
Yeah, I mean, lots of criticisms of the current system, not just the candidates from each different party. I do want to also share with you on YouTube some comments that have been coming in. One from Dot. Let me just read it to you right here.
I hope the comments,
the Philippines,
I'm sure the comments, you see one comment, they're just laughing at you because it's like a joke. I'm telling you, this is a really bad and really unfair comment from Aljazeera.
What can you share with us about geopolitical implications? What might Marcos Jr.'s rule actually look like if he does, in fact, win?
Yeah, that's there. They're laughing, isn't it?
Right? I was quite shocked in an interview I had with the spokesman of the Commission on Elections a few years back to know that we don't really have a kind of a robust mechanisms to make sure that there's no foreign interference in our elections and the concern over
I don't think there's any foreign interference or influence. But well, I'm in a foreign land. I'm not in the Philippines.
And the stakes are extremely high. The Philippines is a U.S. treaty ally, but under President Duterte, it has been acting like not an ally at all, right? Much more ally of China. And the worry is that if Bongbong
Well,
becomes the next president, he will
it's
further
not about
tilt the country in the
Duterte is
direction of
not
China
about an
and
ally
its
of China. You know that he condemned China for what they did, and especially the war, not the war, the land grabbing. That doesn't mean if we are not fighting, because fighting against China is just like a very stupid thing.
You know,
If you
it's
do,
interesting. We have a
honestly.
comment that was sent to us, and then you really laid it out there in terms of what's at stake for the world. So to broaden out the conversation, let's listen to what Dr. Jose Ramon Albert has to share with us. He had some deep insight.
Some people find it surprising that Senator Ferdinand Marcos
What do you say
Jr.,
about that?
who's called Bongo, is leading by a very wide margin across socioeconomic groups. However, I'm not, because he has a very strong alliance with Sara Duterte, the daughter of the current president, who's very popular. What's more surprising to me is that she's leading even larger among very educated groups. And I think what we have to watch out for is whether those who are trailing behind would be withdrawing in the next few days, because that could be a game changer, but likely it's not going to happen.
It seems almost, I mean, is that viable? Is that just like hopeful thinking that that could be a last minute game changer, Canada dropping out? What do you think, Leanne?
I think it's very much between Robredo and Marcos now. And I think all of the supporters of Vice President Robredo are counting that the surveys have a blind spot. But as Regine said, that they haven't taken into account the unprecedented ground movement of doing house-to-house nationwide. That's never been done before. Usually you do house-to-house for local elections. And so maybe we're in for a surprise, maybe not. But one thing that I can foresee in the future, whoever wins, it's going to be a volatile first 1 month or 2 months. If Marcos wins, all those thousands of people that showed up for Robredo are going to make their voices heard. If Robredo wins, the 56% lead, the people that make up that lead of Marcos are going to have their voices heard. So we're in for a very rough ride in the next month, 2 months, 3 months.
Interesting. I mean, you know, we have a lot of people on YouTube commenting, for example, Jay Fizzy saying we should stop calling him Bong Bong and call him only as Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to remind every supporter who they're voting for. Trying to say that perhaps even just that is in a way, you know, focusing on the personality rather than the politics. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, under his father's rule, thousands were tortured, were disappeared, were murdered, and you know, it's troubling to imagine that that's just being gelled over. I do want to say, on the actual policies, we've talked a lot about the politics of all of this, but it seems both candidates have made sort of vague pledges, if I'm not mistaken, Regina, to improve healthcare and fight poverty. That's kind of the overriding issue it has been for many elections in Philippines history. Is that true, or is there a clear sort of difference between the two?
Like what Lian and Rian mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
There's a very vague promise of unity, but the platforms actually have not really been fleshed out. Partly because Marcos Jr. and Sara Duterte have really refused to participate in debates, face the free press, and answer any questions. That includes both regarding controversies and basic policies like economics, pandemic response, etc. So they haven't been questioned there. In terms of pandemic response, Robredo has had a bit of a track record with being very active in terms of her programs. And a lot of her biggest endorsements now, a lot of the people who really testify are people who have benefited from her various programs over the years while she was kind of working silently. Definitely one thing that we're seeing with Robredo's campaign is that it's actually borrowing from the radical love model we've seen in Turkey back in 2019 when opposition went up against Erdogan. One thing that we can learn from that particular campaign is that they can't really attack these populists outright. So they have to cater to gut issues and basically court the electorate based on things that are basically closer to their heart than the drug war, or human rights issues or social issues, where they can be more realistic.
Right. I want to share with you very quickly something that Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. had to say on Facebook just yesterday. Take a look.
Sa gitna ng crisis, in the middle of a crisis, we should brace and prepare for a better tomorrow where we are united. Let us turn our backs on disagreements and divisions, and let us embrace a unifying leader who will bring us a brighter future.
Sa darating na Mayo 9 ay kailangan din po
On May 9, we also need to be vigilant of our votes. Let us protect our decision, and let us not allow it to be stolen again from us.
So Richard, watching that, we don't have much time left. I just want to get a quick take. Is that campaigning? Is that disinformation in of itself?
I mean, just look at the video. It screams nostalgia. It makes you think of his father. I mean, the way he dresses up, the way he looks, his hairstyle. I mean, the unity kind of a vague motherhood statement is something that his father also used to say. You know, that if you put someone like me, someone with political will, whatever that means, someone with strong will, then automatically and magically all of our problems are going to go away. That's what they want to talk about policy, because this is all about putting our confidence in some sort of fatherhood figure. And that's what he's doing by eerily actually trying to look like his own father.
And perhaps we should have talked about the patriarchy. Always seems like a very relevant topic when discussing politics in this day and age. Richard, Leon, Regine, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching at home, and see you next time. You can always follow us at stream.aljazeera.com.
It's that old adage, your friends' friends are not always your friends. Over the years, India has drawn ever closer to the United States. Its border tensions with
Ukraine is forcing countries across Europe to reconsider doing business with Russia. Now, it comes at a time when Moscow's most powerful ally, China, continues to expand its economic interests across European countries.
Runners, and what's at stake now?
Guys, this is Marcos tayo. What? I'll show you Marcos. Ferdinand Marcos. Okay, it's time to vote. It's time to vote. This vote will go to the post office. So I'm not going to the Embassy of the Republic of the Philippines. That's in London. And instead, I'm going to just the post box. I have to drop this one. So basically, that's the one. It's a there's already postage already being paid for. You have to put your signature, your name, and it says the special ballot reception and custody.
Mommy, look! Mommy, they look the same.
They look the same because this is Papa Tito and Mommy. Yeah? So all I need to do is to shade. Okay. So this is the ballot. If I show you. So I'll show you who's in here. Right. This is the presidential candidate to vote, and that includes Abelia Ernie, De Guzman Calyodi, we have Isko Moreno, we have Norberto Gonzalez, Ping Lacson, Faisal Magundato, this is my bet, Bongbong Marcos, number 8 is Montemayor Jose Jr., Manny Pacquiao. I love as well Manny Pacquiao, but unfortunately, I think that position doesn't fit for him. And Pinklawan Robredo. Although lots of people, actually my friends, they're actually Lenny Robredo's bet, but well, I didn't agree. Okay, for the vice president, we have Lito Atienza, we have Walden Bello, Rizalito David, because we are from Philippines. David, this one, that's foreign. Rizalito David, we have Sara Duterte, so that's my bet as well, from Lakas group or party. And we have Mane Lopez, Doc Willie. Doc Willie is actually a good man. Kiko Pangilinan, Carlos Serapio, and Vicente Vic Soto, Tito Soto. Yeah, he's a good man too. Yeah. So we have a long list of senators. Yeah, we have a long list of senators here. Actually, there's a lot. How many are they? 64. 64. But I think you have to vote for 12 people. Yeah. And who are in the list? There's a lot in the list. So that includes Abner Afuang, Ibrahim Albane from WPP. I don't know what group is that, what party. We have Mang Jess Aranza, Teddy Bagilat, Agnes Pailen, Carl Balita, Lutz Barbo, Herbert Bautista or Bistek. He's actually he is a former actor in the 80s, 90s, or yeah. And we have Greco Belgica, Mr. Silvestre Bello the Jr. We have Jojo Binay, Roy Carbonegro, Bro John Castriciones. We have Alan Cayetano, Melchor Chavez, Colmenares, Nery Comelar, David D'Angelo, Laila de Lima Aguy. Laila. We have Del Rosario Mansour. Oh, that's another actor. Used to be an actor. Or I don't know if he's still an actor. Ding Diaz, Shell Jokno, Estrada Ejercito, We have Guillermo Eleazar. Oh, he used to be the PNP chief, the chief of the Philippine National um, of the Philippines. Yeah. And we have Brother Ernie Erenio Cheese Escudero. I think that's the husband of Heart, the actress Heart Evangelista. We have Luke Espirito, Jingo Estrada, another former actor, and he's been in the Senate for a long time. He's I think he's a current senator. Yeah. We have Falcone, Larry Gadon. Oh, this is the one that actually requested to have the motion to close CNN, which he was successful in doing it. Well done for him. And we have Gatchalian Wen. We have Dick Gordon. Dick Gordon, of course. Now he's a very good friend of our President Duterte, and now he's the #1 enemy. I don't know what happened to them, but there are still people that I still like, you know. Ramira Gutok, I think from Action. We have this Gringo Honasan. Gringo Honasan has been there for ages, and he's a good man, actually. He's a very, very good man. We have Risa Hontiveros, which I'm not convinced for her. She does a lot of very controversial comments, which is annoying. Okay, we have RJ Haviliana, Noor Mahal, Kiram, Elmer Labog. We have Ray Langit. Oh, Ray Langit. Is that the commentator for the, a radio, whatever, does a lot of radio program. But I think he's popular too. Yeah. And we have Lauren Legarda, which I will have to vote for Lauren Legarda to represent the women. That is righteous. We have Arya Lim, Mulelen Emily, Marcoleta. Okay, I think my brothers recommended me to vote for Marcoleta, but I heard Marcoleta before. They are, they do good things for the people. Leo Marcos Francis. Okay, I used to follow Leo a lot until he got into prison for helping people. Can you imagine? But there's a lot of controversy of this person, so I don't know. He's being investigated and he's actually now in prison. Sunny Matula. We have Adam Marietta Minlanao, Olarte Atenio, Big Kiss. By the way, that's Bongbong Marcos, okay? And, my pen is ready to vote. So, Matula Sony. We have, what's this one? Mindalano, Adam Marietta. We have Olarte, June, Leo, Doctora Padilla. Okay, we have Robin Padilla. Wow, that's another actor. How many actors have been seen in this list? He used to be a bad boy, but he's trying to be good now, and he's a father, and he's, I think he's married to an actress. They've got kids, and lots of kids, and he's trying to help the administration, like doing big stuff, like peace kind of thing. Sal Panelo. Oh, used to be is he the one that went to and the speaker, the attorney, or the Astra Pimentel, Manny Piñol. I think my brother has also said to vote for Manny Piñol. Rica Blanca Willie Jr., Harry Roque. Okay, I'll vote for you because you're one of the guys that I like. One of the guys. Okay, Larry, Lady, Sally, Dula. We have Jopet Season, Gibo Chidoro, Antonio Trillanes the Fourth. Boo. I don't think I'm gonna vote for you, man. You're very controversial and very unfair. You have done a lot of very bad comments for every single thing. You talk too much and that's not good. Rafi Tulpo, my idol, of course. I have to vote for Rafi Tulpo. I've been watching Rafi Tulpo every single day. And Ray Valeros, Joel Testaman, Mark Villar, Rubiaga Carmen, Mig Zubiri. Another good one to vote. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm gonna cast my vote now. I'm gonna show you who I'm going to vote. Of course, yeah. So I'm gonna shade my president. My president is number 7. Okay, I'm gonna shade him properly. And that's him. That's him. That's my guy. That's my kind of one I wanted to lead the Philippines. Okay, so for the vice president, obviously, I have to go with the lady that is a tough lady from the Mindanao area, just like Lois, Babayan ni Lois. And her name is, for my vice president, Sara Duterte. Yay! She will be the next vice president, Sara Duterte, from last.
The next president.
The next vice president. And Leni Robredo will be out. Yeah. Magagalit ito, boss. So, actually, say hi to Dr. and Dr. Casala and to Richard Nopay. They're my big, I'm a fan of them. They're my Dr. and Dr. Casala. They're my boss back in the Philippines when I was working in the clinics. Okay, as a nurse clinic nurse. So, and I learned that they are voting for Lene, but that's a preference, isn't it? They love the pink color. And the red, this month, goes with the red color, and that's more my heart. Red heart color. So, here you go. I'll show you what I did. Yeah, what I did, I shaded Marcos, and then Sara Duterte, and senators. There's lots of senators. I have to vote for 12 senators. Okay? And then my party list. I have to vote for 1. Obviously, I'm a fan of Rafi Tulfo. So I have to vote for the number. Which one is AXIS? Jason didn't see it, so he didn't manage to see this thing. I've seen this somewhere here. AXIS. Oh, there you go. I found it. So number 28. So we'll have to shade number 28. Okay, AXIS. Okay, so then proceed. Senator. Who are we voting for? There's a lot of senators. I'm gonna vote for. Let's see. Okay. So let's see. How am I gonna vote? Okay, I'll start with my idol, Rafi Tulfo. Yay! So I'll start with my idol. This one, number 59. So number 59 pala dahil si Rafi Lois. Number 59. And the Senate. Rafi Tulfo, number 59. And then, who else?
Sure, number 1?
Number,
Is your number 1?
yeah,
your
but
ballot?
it's my 12, yeah. Who else? Ano ba sinabi nila, Elmer? Si, ano? Who else? Lauren. I'll vote for Lauren Legarda. Isa pa, Lois.
Villar.
Manny Villar?
Villar.
Manny Villar. First Manny Villar. Villar.
Son.
It starts with... Is this alphabetical order? Walang Villar, Luis. Oy. Mark Villar?
Yeah, his son. His
Ha?
son.
Mark ba? Mark Villar.
Yeah, son of...
Siya lagi imong wan, kag Manny.
No, Villar, I said.
Villar.
Money
Okay.
is not...
So, the son of Villar. And ano ba yung sabi ni Ed? Piñol. Manny Piñol. Okay.
Yes, Manny Piñols. From
And
Mindanao.
from Mindanao. And Marcoleta. She said about
No,
Marcoleta.
Marcoleta is, nag-withdraw.
Oh,
He's not
why?
included anymore.
Why?
He just withdraw. He's sick. He's sick.
Hmm? Sick.
Yeah, he just withdraw just a week ago.
Oh, dear. Nag-withdraw daw si Marcoleta.
He just withdraw.
Okay. So, who else I'm voting? Mig Zubiri. I think Mig Zubiri is a good one. Okay. So, how many I've got?
Padilla, you don't want?
Robin Padaplin. Okay, Robin Padilla, okay. I have to vote for you now. I think I love Robin for being a bad boy. Bad boy. I think para sa masa, no? Robin Padilla makamasa. He loves people. Okay. Okay. And the first page. Sino ba? Si... Ayan, Peter Cayetano. I used to love this guy, but now it's got controversial issue, isn't it? Peter Cayetano? Okay, let me put your name. Shall I put you? Peter Cayetano. He's a good, actually. He's a really good man. He's got track records of a very good experience. Gadon Larry. Okay. I think I need to vote for Gadon because he did the complaints to, he initiated the closure of ABS-CBN. Sorry. Of course, I want, although they are now enemies of the president, Duterte at the moment. We used to be good friends. They used to be good to each other, but now they have throwing each other's bad thing. So, but I still have to vote for you because Dick Gordon promoted Philippines, the tourist. He managed to increase the amount of people and the promotion about Philippines. Promoting the beaches, the attractions, and the Philippines. Huh?
The Red Cross also.
Oh, and also he used to run the Red Cross. I think he's still the one running the Red Cross, isn't it? Then, who else? Lacson? Gringo Honasan, of course. I said I love this man, so I will vote for you. Okay, so who else? Tulfo, Chidoro, Relianes. Relianes. If I could put the next to his name, I will. Who else? Manny Pinyol, I did. Adelia Robin. Sino pa, Lois?
Sino bang choices? Nalimot naman ko. Si...
I've got
Wala bang,
3, 6,
Villanueva? May Villanueva
9,
ba?
10. I still have 2 to go. I can still vote for 2 people.
Si, ano?
Who else? Okay, who else here? I need 2 more people
Si, ano?
for my senatorial bet.
Yung Villanueva.
Ha?
Yung Tesda man.
Tesla?
Tesda. Yung Villanueva ba yun? Sino man yung mga choices
Villanueva,
dyan?
Joel, Tesdaman. Okay.
Yun, oh.
Alright, Tesdaman.
Ano yan siya? Maganda yan.
Okay, last one. Who is my last one? Shall I vote for Estrada, Ejercito,
Ay, ayoko niyan.
Jingoy,
Galing na yan naman.
or
Bilanggo na yan sa
Nabilanggo?
kakalabas lang yan. Ayoko niyan.
Nabilanggo. Guys, sino bang hindi nabilanggo din
Diba?
eh?
Sino pa bang iba dyan?
Mindanao. Okay. I've got one more to go. So I have to think about it. Oh, Eliasar de Elois. What about Eliasar? Of course, Eliasar. Guillermo Eliasar. Oh my God, how could I forget him? So in case you voted accidentally 13, what are they gonna do? How do they know that? How do they reject? They gonna reject the whole thing?
Ano naman siguro? Hindi na nila isali yung ano mo, ika-13.
So who's gonna be in the 13? Because it's an alphabetical order. You know, and Tulfo is number 59, but I voted him first. It doesn't say 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it?
Oh, hindi naman yan, ano, sa...
No numbering. So that's my question. How about when I accidentally vote 13 people? Whose name are they going to drop? Or they're gonna drop the whole thing?
They dropped the number 13.
Oh, how did they know that it's number 13? Because, you know, when I even drop it to is the number, almost the last one. Good job. That's, diba? Okay, usually, unless if you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, I'm not going to vote for 13 people. Only one. And I have voted for my party list. Yeah, so ACCIS, everyone. ACCIS. Okay, so now I'm done. So I just need to like that simply. This is the postal ballot. Postal ballot. It says ballot. Okay. But this is the postal ballot. So what I do is I just need to fold it like that. Fold it. Okay, fold it. And then this is the envelope. Okay, so simply put it inside envelope, and then this is the seal. You could seal it. And actually, yeah, there's another one. So I've done everything. So I just have to seal it and then send it to the post. That's it. So here we go. Like that. And then seal it, fold it. That one. And then there's one more. I think that's what Carter did. Same thing, you just have to seal so that no one can break inside and do something. So just seal it. Okay? And that's it. It's ready. So I've got 2 here ready to be posted. And that should arrive before the 9th of May. As long as it's arrived at the embassy before that date, they should be able to count my vote. So my vote matters. Okay, so that's it actually. That's all, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Today's Friday, the 5th. What is the date today, Kai? Is it 5th? Kind of? No, the 5th of May. The 5th of May and Friday. So there's still post. Tomorrow we're just gonna drop it. The letterbox. Post box. Okay. And that's already that's stamped. So we don't have to stamp, we just have to drop it in that post. And that's it. Well, wish luck. I have to wish the Filipinos to have a good understanding about our country, and we have to vote wisely. That's Isko Moreno. He's actually a good guy. But I think it's too early for him to become a president. He needs to know more about politics, not just politics, about the way of life and the politics. So, as Lois said, ambisyoso. But it's good. The ambition is very good. Yeah? His ambition to become a president is good. Too early for him, I guess. I mean, if you are capable, but you know, and you can see from the surveys, only got like 4%, not even 10%. That means not everyone's convinced about his capability. But in due time, I will vote for him, definitely. In due time. Okay.
Better luck next time.
So, people in the Philippines, we'll see you soon. If given a chance to go back to the Philippines this year, that will be good. If not, next year. If not, the next week. I'm going to US to visit my sister. Hello to my sister in Texas. They are in Houston, Texas. So she's got a house. She just bought the house and she's going for the housewarming. So we are all invited. So I'm thinking of going there. So for the moment, I'm here. I'm working. And yeah, so my final message to the Filipino people, for my countrymen, let's vote for what you think is right. Don't get influenced with other people, colors, whatever. But you think, but I guess you just need to read and make your own research and make sure you know the person. You know, that's not meaning literally. You have to know them. I haven't met Marcos, to be honest. I know Marcos is before I was also brainwashed by the idea of the dictatorship of the father. So I didn't like Marcos before, and I was also scared like many people. But then again, after the social media, after the communication, after all the evidences, I have to weigh, and also I have my own, that they're just actually defaming. There's a defamation, big defamation about Marcos. Although the father has a big, of course, for the people to suffer, but some of the people to suffer, but that doesn't mean, as I said, that it has to be, the responsibility has to go down to the roots or the son, like the Marcos Jr. So, no. So, yeah, guys, I'm ready to vote. And good luck to all the Filipinos. May 9, that's the presidential election in the Philippines. And that's happening, and I will keep posted on what's going on and what's happening. And I wish all the people in the Philippines, and let's pray for the goodness and fairness of the election. Once again, I am going to thank everyone who will be able to read or will be able to see my post or my blog for our president's election. By the way, I can exercise my vote because I'm Filipino, still Filipino, although I'm here in the UK. I'm British Filipino, so I've got two citizenship, which is dual, they say. So I'm British at the same time. I am Filipino, so I can exercise my rights as a Filipino and also my right here in the UK. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching.